Imagine you could influence someone's every decision, emotional reaction, and even their actions without them even realizing it. Sounds like mind control, right? Well, it's not magic, it's psychology, and it's rooted in real science. These 15 psychological tricks can work on anyone without them even knowing it. Intrigued? Let's dive in. One of the most powerful techniques is the foot in the door method. Picture this. You start with a small request, maybe asking to borrow a pen. Once they agree, it becomes so much easier to ask for something bigger, like borrowing their phone or even something more personal. This works because people are more likely to comply with a larger request after committing to a smaller one. It's like they've already agreed to the first step, so the next feels like a natural progression. Next up, let's talk about the pounding mirror effect. This is one you can use without anyone noticing. By subtly mimicking someone's body language, facial expressions, or tone of voice, you can build rapport and trust. Ever notice how people feel more connected to someone they find familiar? That's why mirroring works so well in negotiations and even casual interactions. They don't even know why they trust you more, but they just do. The you. Silent treatment. Might sound harsh, but it's a brilliant psychological tool. When you stop engaging with someone, whether it's during a conversation or in a relationship, it taps into their deep fear of rejection and social isolation. Subconsciously, they start seeking your approval, sometimes doing things they wouldn't normally do just to get your attention back. Another fascinating trick is the anchoring effect. This one's a sneaky way to manipulate perceptions. When you present an initial piece of information, say a high price for a product, it sets an anchor in the person's mind. Now, when they see something priced lower, it suddenly feels like a great deal, even if it's still expensive. This trick is commonly used in sales and marketing to make you feel like you're getting a bargain. Ever heard someone say, "Flattery will get you everywhere"? That's because flattery is another mind trick that works wonders. People love compliments, even the ones that aren't entirely sincere. When you praise someone, it boosts their self-esteem, making them more likely to agree to your requests or be more cooperative with you. And don't forget about the scarcity principle. Have you ever jumped on a limited time offer only to regret it afterward? That's the scarcity principle at play. When people believe something is in short supply, whether it's a product, a job opportunity, or even a person's attention, they value it more. It plays on the deep fear of missing out, FOMO, pushing people to act quickly and sometimes irrationally. What about urgency? You've probably seen it on websites. Hurry, only 3 left in stock. This creates a pressure that makes people act impulsively. It's all about time sensitivity. You don't have time to think things through. You just act, which is exactly the goal of using urgency. Now here's something that works on everyone. Social proof. This is the everyone else is doing it effect. Ever notice how you're more likely to choose the restaurant with a long line outside or buy a product with hundreds of glowing reviews? That's social proof in action. People tend to follow the crowd, especially when they're unsure of what to do, because they trust the collective wisdom of others. Let's talk about emotional appeals. You've seen this in ads and politics, using guilt, empathy, or sympathy to make someone feel a certain way. If you can tap into someone's emotions, you're much more likely to get them to act in your favor. Think about the sad puppy commercials or charity ads. They tug at your heartstrings, making you want to donate or act on impulse. Another powerful trick is priming. Have you ever walked into a store and immediately felt like buying something, even though you didn't plan to? That's because your mind was primed by something you saw or heard beforehand. For example, if you see an ad with beautiful beach scenery, you're more likely to book a beach vacation. Your mind has been subtly influenced without you realizing it. And finally, contrast. This one's great in sales and negotiations. You present an extreme option first, something outrageous like a super expensive car, and then present the actual option you want them to buy. The second one seems like a steal in comparison. This trick plays on a relative comparison, making the more reasonable choice look much better than it is. These mind tricks work by tapping into primal human instincts. Our need for acceptance, fear of rejection, and desire for validation. When used ethically, they can be incredibly effective. However, there's a fine line between persuasion and manipulation.